Hey, so I'm walking my dog, and I was just thinking I've been wanting to do this for a while now, but I'm obviously late to the game, but like I was in a hurry, you know. So sixth installment in the Scream franchise. Um, I wasn't at all excited for the Scream 5 film without Wes Craven being attached because of his death. Um, but going into it, still being a fan, I went to see it anyway, and it did exceed my expectations because, like I said, I wasn't expecting much at all, and it was pretty good, a solid sequel. I like the characters a lot, especially the two sisters, um, and yeah, so I'm glad they'll be back in this next sequel, and I'm really excited that it takes place in New York um, instead of Woodsboro again. But yeah, there's just a lot of potential they can do with that. I really like the teaser was good. It's just enough, without spoiling anything. And what one thing I really want is for them to change is the killer always. It's always like one story per film, really. It all concludes in this franchise, but like you can write the others off as just one being its own story, pretty much as far as the killer's concerned. And what I would like is that for this round, maybe the killer wins, or the killer Ghostface even escapes, or one of the two or three of Ghostface will escape and leave it open for the next film, or like we find out who they are by the end of 6, but then it's carried on through the 7th film if it goes that far. Which again, I'm not a big fan of franchises as a whole because they lose their flavor and just get redundant. But the Scream franchise is one of the few that I actually think has held up well through the years and not jumped the shark or went to space or whatever. And I still really enjoy them. But as far as Neve Campbell not returning, honestly, I think that her story was concluded already in 5 because she has a family now. She has a reason not to get involved unless Ghostface actually comes for her, which it taking place in New York is another reason for him not to, because he has enough game and victims there without needing her. And honestly, as much as I love Neve Campbell and the character Sidney Prescott, it's tired, it's done, her character hasn't been exactly the badass she started out to be in the first 3, really, because in 4, she's held back a lot, or like even the other Ghostface, her niece, Emma Roberts, kicks her ass. I'm like she's like half your size, and it just felt like I love Scream 4, but that's one of the complaints is that Sidney doesn't even fight back really. She gets stabbed, yeah, but like then she just stands there, and like I'm like, where's that badass? All those combat moves we've seen in, the previous films, like you took on Stu, Billy, Billy's mother, and Mickey, and your brother, single-handedly, which with some help from Go Others, but majority of it's from her. So I think that even in 5, she was just didn't do a whole lot. She did a little more, with help from Gil once again. But I think that like I said, her having a family is enough reason to live out her life. And why would you get involved, really? I mean, this far in the game, I mean, she might feel some responsibility towards it because she is the star, and you know, all the murders are revolved around her in the past, but not really anymore. So, I mean, is she really needed, aside from the fans wanting her back? Like, is she really needed for the film? No. I mean, you know, it's unrealistic to see her keep on going anyway and not dying. She's been stabbed twice. You know, close calls several times. So, really, I mean, I do feel bad for Neve Campbell. The fact that they didn't pay her what she wanted, her salary, because she should have been paid whatever the hell she wanted, because she is the franchise, after all. And I do love her character and her performance as Sydney. Oh, excuse me. But anyway, I'm going on a little tangent here, but as far as this new installment coming out soon in March, like, I just want to see new things. Like, the environment will be good. The cast is really good. Jenna Ortega and the other girl that plays her sister, she was good, but she couldn't compare to Jenna Ortega. And, I mean, she's so good, but maybe it's just the way she was written. But again, I would like to see 2 male serial killers again instead of 2 different genders, or maybe even a gay Ghostface. That would be really cool. You know, something. And also, I want the plot to not be movie driven. I mean, yes, that's the whole point of these movies. Someone's taking it up for horror movies one step too far, but come on, like, there has to be something deeper than that. Like, Billy Loomis, it's revenge for blaming Sydney's mother for splitting his parents up and losing his mom. And I want it to be like a deeper reason, you know, than just movie trivia. And like with Sydney's brother, even, you know, he wanted revenge as well. You know, I just want more of a connection, more of an understanding of the killer's perspective, and you know, maybe even have us side with the killer in a way. Like, you know, maybe write something where it's relatable, and like, if we can see where they're coming from, you know, something that's, you know, yes, they've taken it too far, and there's no excuse for what they do, but at the same time, maybe, I don't know, in a cruel world, they become cruel themselves, or I don't know, just something, you know, something that would give someone a legitimate reason to snap or go off, even though it's not really, you know, a good thing to do, or, you know, really, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm excited to see Jenna Ortega back. I'm excited, honestly, to see this be a sequel to the director's film, because now I know more of what to expect, and also it's a sequel to their own film, more or less Wes Craven's. And I said the same thing, similar about another film that was a reboot, and I was more excited about that than I was, excuse me, I'm picking up my dog's shit in the meantime. Yeah, like, I can't remember what movie it was, but it was, I think, a horror film also. The fuck was it? Now it's gonna bother the hell out of me. Damn. Anyway, I'll come back to me maybe. But yeah. So, I'm curious to see what role Gale Weathers. I mean, I know what role she's playing, obviously, Gale Weathers, but like, what where she comes into play. I also thought this too, like it would be cool if, since Sydney isn't on board but Gail is, why don't she kind of not take the excuse me, I'm gonna say take the helm, because they're taking the new cast is there, but I want her to play a pivotal role where, I don't know, like maybe like Ghostface somehow, like with her books and everything, basically this being her reason this is dragged on, the killings, is because the stab films and everything, people taking inspiration from it. Somehow it'd be cool to have like a scene where he goes after her personally and maybe thanks her for giving, so much, I guess as an author, words of wisdom are like something like he takes us to his advantage. I don't know, just, I wouldn't say kill her off, but again, she's been in this a long time too, and like I love her. I love Courtney Cox. I love her as this character, probably just as much as Sydney. She has some bite to her, and she is a bitch, which I like. She's probably one of my gay influences, honestly. But yeah, I think that maybe there's multiple killers, instead of just two again. Like, because at the end of Scream 5, where it took place in Stu's house, I was like, this has to go somewhere instead of it just being the location. So I was actually expecting, with the rumors and everything, I thought that Stu was going to be a big part of the conclusion or the surprise ending or something, because it felt like it needed something more. But we never got that. But at the same time, I'm glad, because I think that would be dumb, like where he had been all this time, and with no mention of him whatsoever. But yeah, like I don't want them to dig this into the ground too much, because as the installments get further and further, it gets more comical and less scary. That's just a fact, proven. And some people, they like the whole parody sitcom aspect of it. I don't. Like Chucky, the Chucky series, I can't get into it for the life of me. I'm a big Chucky fan, but that's just not it for me. Which I think that a lot of people, like as far as the Elm Street series, they like it going off the rails, balls deep into the comedy, and again, I'm just not one of them. It's fine for Leprechaun because that's a leprechaun. It's dumb anyway, really. But like, if it don't start off that way, don't push your luck, or don't change it so drastically. Don't feel like the same as you start out with. But I also had mentioned before, I think it was on TikTok, that it'd be really cool if the Ghostface Killer also had literally taken inspiration from horror films, not so much just the killing, but like some of the murders might take place at a certain camp, like Crystal Lake. I know it sounds dumb, but like, just the names and maybe someone gets killed with razor knives, like a glove or something instead of a knife, and they kind of leave hints as to where the killer's gonna strike next. And then the FBI, they don't know a lot of horror films and stuff like that, so I think it'd be interesting to ask for help from these teenagers that are so heavily devoted to horror films, that they ask them for help. And I think that'd be really interesting as well. But just something different, something fresh, not too different to where it just loses all credibility, like but yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts as far as what I would like, and as far as the film, without Sydney, she was barely in the fifth one anyway, so I don't think it's gonna be like a mood killer for the film. I mean, people are already on board knowing she's not involved, but I do hate it for her that she's been in this so long and not feeling that she gets the pay she deserves or the respect. But maybe the next film she will get it and she'll be in it or something. But again, I just think, at the end of Scream 5, her having a family, I want to see more of that. The family, instead of just hearing about it, I want to see her develop more, because she's kind of been on the sidelines, and just like I said, she hasn't been as badass since 3. I mean, she's still Sydney and she still has, her traits and her, strength and everything. That's great, but I want to see more of it instead of just her talking and getting stabbed and living again, and you know what I'm saying? I think you do. But yes, that's pretty much it for now. Let me know what you think.